Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the structure of a C program. We all know that the C is a structured programming language. We will have some structure or a prototype for any C program. Now we will see what is the structure we are going to follow to write a C program. In the structure of a C program, you are going to have 6 sections. In that, the first one is documentation section, the second one is link section, third one is definition section, fourth one is global declaration section, fifth one is main function section. In this main function section, you will have two parts, declaration part and executable part. And the last section is subprogram section. Now we will see in detail about all the sections. Coming to the first section, that is your documentation section. This section consists of set of comment lines giving the name of the program and other details which the programmer would like to use later. So here you are going to have two types of what is it, commenting lines. Documentation section, which is nothing but here it is used to write the comments in a C program. That may be either at the beginning of the program or in the middle of the program we can write. Whatever may be the situation or wherever you are going to write the comments, you are going to have uh, the commenting lines in two different ways. One is two slashes, the other one is slash asterisk, the matter slash asterisk. Asterisk slash. That means single line comments you are going to use a double hash, and multiple lines you are going to use this type of documentation section. The second section is link section. The link section provides the instruction to the compiler to link functions from the system library. So what do you mean by this link section? Link section is nothing but it is a very mandatory section for any C program. You will write printf, scanf, for loop, whatnot, everything. All the technical terms which are related to C program you will write. You know that this is meant for printing of the statement and this is meant for scanning of the statement. But how could the system or the program can analyze the concept of that particular things? So you will have the header files where you are going to define the structure or the concept of all those printfs and scanfs in some header files. The basic header file is stdio.h, standard input output header file. In this header file, you are going to have the definition or the syntax for your print, scan, and all those things. So what we are finally going to say is the link section is meant for declaring of all the header files. All the header files. Say for example, if you are using some mathematical functions like POW, which is meant for power, SQRT, which is meant for square root, and all those things, COS, cos, SIN, sin, all these has been defined in mathematical header file, which is nothing but math.h. And you will have some functions like getch, putchar, like CLR, SCR, all those exit will be defined in choreo.h. What are the functions you are defining or using in that particular program? You are going to include that particular header files in the beginning of the C program. This is very mandatory section. The third section is the definition section. In this section, we define all the symbolic constants. Say, for example, you want to define any variable with some value, predefined value, that is, which is fixed. You will write or you will declare in the definition section. Say, for example, if you are writing the what is it? If you want to calculate the area of a circle, you are going to use pi r square. Do you have the pi symbol in the keyboard? No. Then what you are going to write? You are going to write is pi you are going to write. And you know that the pi value is nothing but 22 by 7, which is nothing but 3.14. So what you're going to do is, instead of writing every time 3.14 and all those things, you will define pi, or that is the variable name, followed by the space and followed by its value. That means you're defining that whenever pi is coming across in the program, you should replace with the value 3.14. Now see here, you're writing as define a space 10. Whenever you are coming across with capital A in the program, you will replace that A with 10. So all the definitions will be offered, your symbolic constants will be defined in the definition section. Next goes is your global declaration section. Some of the variables that are used in more than one function throughout the program are called global variables and declared outside of all the functions. This section declares all the user-defined functions. Now see here in the global declaration, global is nothing but outside the main. Before the main and after the link section, you will have one part called as your global declaration, where, say for example, as we go on, we do have some functions in say for example, excluding main, if you are having some 4 to 5 functions, in all those functions you are using one variable called as I. Okay, and you are initializing that value with 0, or simply if you are not assigning the value also, you are using the variable called as I. Instead of declaring in each and every function, you can declare that variable outside the main function. That means if you are using some particular variables throughout the program, then you can declare that variables as global variables. And what all the functions you are defining, excluding main, all those should be declared in the global declaration section. Next, this is the heart of your C program, that is your main function section. Every C program must have one main function section. That means whatever the program you will write, how many statements you are least bothered about, how many functions you are writing and all those things. The execution of the C program starts from the main only. You will have two parts, that is declaration part and executable part. In this, the mandatory part is your executable part. Without declaration part also, you can have a C program. Say for example, if you want to print any statement like welcome, hello, your name and all those things, you are going to write simply printf. No need of declaring any variables. So at that time, you don't need any declaration part. Now we will see what is there in the declaration part and what is there in the executable part. Declaration part. This part declares all the variables used in the executable part. As we have discussed previously, the executable part will have some set of statements, what all the variables you are going to use. If you are using any variables in the executable part, that will be defined in the declaration part. Next is your executable part. This part consists at least one statement, as I have already told you. One simple printf statement also comes under your executable part. These two parts must appear between the opening and closing braces. What are the two parts? That is the declaration part and executable part should be appearing between opening and closing of the brackets, which is nothing but your flower brackets. So what all you will write in the opening and the closing of the brackets, you will call that as your body of the function. The program execution begins at the opening brace and it ends at the closing brace. All statements in the declaration and the executable parts end with a semicolon. How we will write in English, you will end a statement with a full stop. In the same way, in the C programming language, what all the statements you will write within the opening and closing braces. That is declaration part and executable part. All that will be ended with a semicolon, which shows that the statement has been ended. Next, the last part is subprogram section. This section consists of the contains all the user defined functions that are called in the main function. User defined functions are generally placed immediately after the main function, although they may appear in any order. As we have discussed previously, in addition to the main function, you will have some more functions which are defined by the user. Those are called as your user defined functions. So where we are declaring that functions in the global declaration part, right? So you need to define that functions afterwards. So excluding main, what all the functions the user are defining comes under your subprogram section, and the order of appearing of that subprogram section may be in any order. It is not compulsory that it should be in the first one, second one, like that. We will go with one example. So here goes your example. The program is my first program. So no need of documentation. Link section is the next main thing. Ash include stdio.h. Only here we are using only one function called as printf. This printf has been defined in the header file called as standard input output header file. So this is called as your library or header file or prototype.